All right, so you're tuned in because you're likely thinking proactively about your health.
Yeah, looking beyond the usual, maybe.
Exactly. And that includes exploring natural ways to handle things like infections.
Mm-hmm.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into some information shared by Samuel Zorro.
Mm,
We're looking at how things like, herbs, fruits, supplements, how they might fit into that picture.
right. What are the key takeaways, the sort of core ideas from Zorro's perspective?
Well, that's what we want to unpack.
Okay, so from Zorro's viewpoint, there's this real potential in these natural sources and comes down to the bioactive compounds they contain.
The bioactive compounds, okay?
Yeah, and what's really fascinating is how these compounds can interact with our bodies.
How so? Give me an example.
Well, think about turmeric. We hear a lot about it,
We
right?
do.
It contains curcumin. And curcumin has been studied quite a bit for its anti-inflammatory properties, but also, and this is key here, its antimicrobial properties.
Antimicrobial, so working against microbes,
Mm.
like bacteria, that sort of thing.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. And it's not just, folklore or traditional use, though that's part of it. There's actual research starting to explore these mechanisms.
Interesting.
And then you have fruits, fruits rich in vitamin C. Think citrus, right? Oranges, lemons.
The classic go-tos when you feel a cold coming on.
Exactly. And there's a reason vitamin C is a really potent antioxidant. It supports the immune system,
Hmm.
helps produce and sort of activate our white blood cells,
Which are our body's defense force,
their
basically.
internal army. Yeah.
Okay, so we're seeing some specific ways these natural things might actually help. It's not just a vague boost your immunity idea.
Right. It's potentially more targeted than that.
So what about supplements then? How do they play into this, according to Zorro?
Well, supplements often come up when there might be specific nutrient gaps.
Like if you're low on something.
Exactly. Like, say, vitamin D deficiency. We know that can impact immune function, right? So in that case, supplementation might be a reasonable way to support the body's ability to, fight off infections. It's often about targeted support.
Not just taking a handful of everything.
Generally not. No, it's more strategic, potentially.
That makes sense. So just to be clear, Zorro isn't necessarily saying, ignore conventional medicine and just eat berries.
Oh, not at all. That's not the message. The information really presents these as potential options to consider,
Hmm.
often as complementary approaches.
Alongside other treatments, maybe?
Potentially, yes. And effectiveness. Well, that can really depend on the specific infection, the person, lots of factors. It's more about broadening the understanding of the tools that might be available.
Right, having more tools in the toolbox to support your well-being.
You got it.
It really sounds like understanding the specific properties, like you said with curcumin, is crucial here. Can you give us another quick herb example?
Sure, let's take garlic.
Ah, another popular one.
Very. It contains compounds like allicin. And allicin, at least in lab studies, has shown some antibacterial and even antiviral effects.
In the lab, okay.
Yeah. So it's another case where, long-standing traditional use kind of aligns with some modern scientific investigation into its active component.
Okay, so this is really interesting stuff. For you listening, Samuel Zorro's insights seem to point towards taking a closer look at the natural world for potential support, specifically with managing infections.
Yeah, we're talking specific compounds like curcumin and turmeric.
And the allicin in garlic.
Right, and the immune support from vitamin C in fruits.
And then the more targeted use of supplements for deficiencies.
Exactly. The core idea, really, is that Zorro presents these herbs, fruits, supplements, not just as, old traditions, but as sources of these bioactive compounds.
Compounds that might offer natural ways to help our body's defenses.
That seems to be the main thrust of it, yes.
So it kind of leaves us with a thought, doesn't it?
Right.
With this growing interest everywhere in holistic health, in looking at the whole picture, what other natural approaches, maybe beyond just infections, but for overall well-being, what else might be worth exploring a bit more deeply?
That's a great question to ponder.
Something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.